Strength training for golf performance. What you need to do and how it's going to affect your game. Michael here at Golford, and I'm here to talk to you all about strength training, how to apply it to your golf game, and ultimately why it's going to make such a big difference, guys, alright? So, looking at the basics of strength. Strength is the ability to move. It's the ability to create movement relative to an external force in some cases, or just your own body. So, sometimes we get confused with strength in being huge, being all built up, bodybuilder style, but basically strength is the ability to create the force needed for the task at hand, alright? So, that is directly relative to the golf swing because there's a lot of force involved in the game, guys, alright? And I think the golf scene obviously has changed now. We've got world number one, who is jacked, he's a big guy, he's always in the gym, and we've got my man Scott Stallings, talk of the PGA Tour because of his strength training, his fitness work, and the transformation of his body, okay? So, clearly, the best players are training strength. You don't have to go far on social media to see golfers working out, hitting decent weights, and improving their performance through that, guys, alright? So, why is strength training important for golf? Well, if you think about the swing itself, there's an awful lot of force, a lot of torque, a lot of overall movement involved in the golf swing. It requires the actual strength to be able to stabilize in those positions, and obviously as you go through stages and development of players, those strengths are directly relative to performance as well, okay? So, starting right out from the bottom, if we don't have the strength to retain posture and turn around our spine, we're going to find ourselves going up and out of the swing, up and down, alright? And then as soon as we start seeing this movement, it makes it much harder to hit the ball, and it makes it much harder to be consistent, guys, alright? So once you start to develop strength, basically what we're going to see is that the body can maintain position better. We can use the ground more, which again is something that people talk about all the time. That's that ground force, the ability to push out of the ground and use the force of your whole body to create power. And then also, once you start training well, the neuromuscular connection is going to be improved, and basically you're going to be able to fire the right muscles at the right time, guys, alright? So if you have a part of the body that's particularly inactive, you're going to throw the body off, your sequencing is going to be really difficult to maintain. And again, we're not as optimal as we can be, okay? If we're strong enough to use the ground, use the big muscles in the legs and the glutes, we're going to be able to create that ground force, maintain our spinal position, use that, drive through, and hit the ball the way that we want to, guys, okay? And it comes down to the actual science of force, acceleration, etc. In that, if you have more mass, you do not need as much acceleration to equal the same force, alright? So it's all relative. Obviously you can go too far in that if you have too much mass, too big a guy, and you can't create the acceleration, then the equation is going to be thrown out the other way, alright? So the force created, your club head speed, the amount of power you get into the shot itself, is directly relative to your overall mass and the acceleration you can create. So with the correct training, we can directly benefit both. And there's a cool video from TPI on this in terms of Rory McIlroy. He was a young guy, obviously had all the acceleration you could possibly want in terms of just his development and natural ability, but without the mass, early on he was having a lot of trouble with his body. So he didn't have the strength to maintain the imposed demands on his body that golf was there creating. Okay, so by adding some mass, he could create the same force with less acceleration, making it easier on the body, and meaning that he could continue on and develop his game to where he is now, guys. So strength is important, very important. In fact, you need to have strength so that you can swing the way that you want to, create the positions in the swing and the power in the swing that is going to help you play your best golf. It's going to help you play longer because if we create the right body, we're going to be more efficient. We put less stress in the places we don't need stress, and that's going to help you to be optimal. It's going to help you to keep your body in a position where you can continue playing for as long as possible, guys, alright? And then ultimately, strength training obviously is going to be good for your health and your fitness also. If you don't do anything and just play golf, you're going to get quite a lot of imbalances just because of the stress of the golf swing. Obviously, it's an asymmetric, it's a one-sided movement. so different parts of the body are doing different things. Strength training, relative to those who probably don't play as much golf, we can put ourselves in a position to play better, but we can also mean that our body is going to be better day to day, less injuries, more confidence in your movement and more confidence in your overall ability to jump in and take on anything in front of you guys, alright? So, all the benefits are there and you want to start strength training. Where do you start? Well, first of all, form is the most important thing, guys, alright? How much weight you can lift is irrelevant if we're doing it incorrectly, because you're just going to put yourself in a bad spot, your injury likelihood is going to go up, and you're not going to see the benefits. If you're doing a lift where you should be focusing on one area of the body, and you're getting the complete wrong sequence, putting stress into areas that don't need it, that isn't helping anybody, okay? So what I would look to do is start light and focus on your form at all times, guys, okay? This might mean, for certain people, using different equipment. Starting out with a kettlebell swing instead of a deadlift is a perfect way to start out, okay? You're working the same hinge pattern, you're starting to use the right musculature, and you are getting yourself into the type of position that's going to help you transfer on, up and through. Same thing goes through a lot of different things. You can squat with dumbbells, you can do banded squats, kettlebell movements again come in and be very important, guys, alright? So basically, as you would do with anything else, create a good base foundation of movement and capacity that's going to allow you to continue to develop, okay? So once you have got that development, you then need to understand what your goals are and why you are doing the strength training that you are, okay? So, I already mentioned McElroy, he had all the acceleration possible, so he was looking to add lean mass in a way that would help his game develop and help him to work over a period of time, okay? So he had the acceleration, was looking to add mass. A lot of players ultimately will come at it from a different side, okay? You need to be working strength, but also into those acceleration profiles, because not everybody has just out speed to start out, okay? It's hard to work on everything at once, and it's relative to where you are currently, guys, okay? So, you do need to create that base foundation. So what you would look to do is then start to put a periodized program together that's going to allow you to work on your strength first, because strength is the foundation to all of your other movements, guys, alright? So you would hit yourself some strength training, whether that's deadlifts, squats, presses, etc. All of the things that are going to challenge your central nervous system, they're global movements, and the more free weights, the better, okay? You're going to do that for a set period of time. There will be some physiological adaptation, there will be some stress on the body, so you can have a bit of fatigue. Program that in around your practice, and obviously that's relative to how much golf you're playing and what events you are playing at that time, guys, okay? So we've got a lot of tour players doing this, we got a lot of amateur players who probably focus more in the gym than they do on the golf. It's all relative, guys, alright? We need to put this in to your routine in a way that's going to allow you to see the direct benefits for your golf, okay? So you're going to hit yourself up with the strength cycle first of all. Strength cycle, loads of different ways to do it. Very simply, you're going to start to build with progressive overload to heavy weights so your body adapts to that challenge, okay? Very simple way of playing. Once you have worked through that strength cycle, then we can start to use some percentage work, some ballistic work and power work to start transferring that strength that you've got into more accessible power and acceleration. So by that point, if we go back to our equation, we're looking at increasing mass and we're also increasing acceleration, which means our force is then going to go up as well, guys, okay? So, working these periodized cycles, you can then create a really good foundation. Knowing where your events are that are most important, you can start to program in exactly how you want your body to feel. So, outside of tournament golf, you can do strength work. You can put this in during as well, but that's relative to your baseline strength and what you're used to day to day. If you've got a good tolerance, hit some strength training up, make sure you're not too fatigued. If you're just getting used to strength training, keep it as far away from your golf as possible until the body starts to adapt and get used to it, okay? The power training is going to allow you to really create some speed in the swing, but speed in the gym as well. So you're seeing a lot of high output work at a good percentage. This still is going to be mid-range in terms of reps, okay? And then as you start to get into the most important times of your golf, We still need to keep a strength base in there, and there's different ways of doing that as well, but we're going to start going more towards speed and using all of those lifts to give us the base starting point for strength and speed work, guys. Alright, so you've got your strength, then we start taking those percentages down further, start doing some more rotational style exercises, some speed exercises that are going to directly relate to your swing. Okay, so that's going to be things like med balls, light power cleans, lighter deadlifts, but maybe varying a lot in terms of stability as well as acceleration. Okay, so remember, strength is the foundation to all of your performance. If you don't have the strength to move this club in the first place, we're already failing at that point, guys. Alright, so understand how strength training works. We're coming up to a pivotal point in the year now where some players are on an off season, and now is the time to focus on your body, understanding how that's going to relate to your game, and knowing when you need your body fired back up, alright? Build your base, turn it into power, create that full-on acceleration. You've already got the mass, we've got more force, guys, alright? There are really good ways to do this, and there's no one way for each person, okay, guys? But understanding how to put strength training into your golf performance is extremely important, and you should start thinking about it right away.